Welcome back, family, to another edition of the Teacher Surgery Season 3. I can't believe we made it. Thank you for sticking with us, for everyone that's been here since Season 1. I would say there has been so many questions that have come in, and thank you for everyone who's interacting with us on our Instagram and our YouTube and our LinkedIn, all platforms, and you can find all the links down below. But thank you for everyone who's sharing questions and asking questions and seeking advice. This is really the place where you want to get advice from real professionals. Without further ado, I'll hand over to our seasoned professionals, Amber, Clement, and Danielle, to answer your first question. So, without further ado, is the current curriculum still relevant in today's society? Clement's nodding, so
I'll jump straight in.
Yeah, jump in.
I personally believe that the curriculum is very dated. I feel that if you look at the students that we have now, in terms of, where they were born, the era that they're born in, in this modern day world, everything's tech, everything's fast paced. Everyone's got a mobile phone, Samsung, earphones, Apple Watch, playing games, Netflix. And these students are doing all of these things, believe it or not, at the same time as well. So I feel like the curriculum, not all, but some of it is dated. Like talking from a maths perspective, because obviously I teach maths, and I get this question all the time. Oh, why do we have to do algebra? Why do we have to do algebra? And I'm an open book. Like, I'm honest with them. I'm like, you know what? I get it. I sympathize with you. You're not going to go into Tesco's or Sainsbury's and use algebra. So I absolutely get where you're coming from.
Sure.
Obviously, I still have to install, the purpose of it is because I want to make sure you get the best mark possible. So that's why we have to learn it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I get it. I do get it. And what we should really be talking about, which does sometimes happen in my lessons, is, tax band. Some students want to know what's a tax band.
Yeah. What's your tax band?
Do you know what I mean?
Wow, okay.
They're trying to ask. They always want to know how much you get paid as well. Students always love knowing what teachers get paid. But things that are more relevant,
to them,
that they can embed
lives,
into the curriculum. I think it's really important. And I can't really say much on the English, but going back. And I feel they're still doing it. Like Of Mice and Men, are they still doing Of Mice and Men?
Yeah, I think they're still doing Mice and Men.
And Blood Brothers. Not Blood Brothers. Okay, what about Blood Brothers?
I went to see that at school when I was at school as well. Then we went to the play to see it.
Well, for instance, I mean, I definitely know there's a school doing Blood Brothers, and that book. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen the play, etc. But that was done in 1980s. I want to say. So we're 2022 now. Do you know what I mean? Come too fast.
We need to shake the tables.
Yeah, we need to. I feel like that's what we need to do.
And change it up. Danielle, what's your thoughts?
I agree. I mean, I think once they get to college, they choose what they want to do, so that it becomes their choices, and you try and fit in the work experience and relate it to as much of real life, more so than in schools. So I look at, say, history. I didn't like history at school. Why do I need to learn history?
Yeah.
Some learners don't know how to book a holiday. Some learners don't know how to apply for their passport. They don't know how to apply for jobs.
Yeah.
Giving them life skills over a history lesson, that's gone. But this is coming. I'm just picking on history because I'm going
to disagree. I can deal with anything, but the history, I think we should absolutely.
If you don't know about the past,
how are you going to know who you are in the ground?
No,
in the
but
present?
I mean in terms of you don't need as many hours and make it so tight. Think about when you get to I think it's gone to year 9 now, but it could still be year 10 in some schools. You can drop history.
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree completely with both of you. Because as far as I'm concerned, if we look at the new grading criteria, they've applied context. They want you to talk about things that are current. They want you to talk about politics. They want you to talk about social context, historical context, racial aspects, stereotypes, countertypes. They need you to apply it. Yes, maybe the fundamental elements that they've applied in terms of English, I'm going to give an example. We look at Macbeth, but they're not saying that you need to stop it there. In fact, in order for you to get a grade 9 or in order for you to get a grade 8, you need to go that further step. You need to take that further step. You need to be able to explore what's happening in society currently.
I'll just pick you up on that though, because you're talking about grades. Okay, it's not about grades, it's about outcomes.
But it's the
And
curriculum.
outcomes isn't always about a grade. It's labelling someone, you've got to do this to be a grade 9 kid. You can do that, but you can't apply for a passport. It's finding that balance of coming away from this is the grade to this is real life skills.
But remember, I said grading criteria. You're saying, yeah, it's the grade. But if you're looking at the grading criteria, that means you're missing the section in order to make sure those children reach their full potential. If you're not covering AO3, which is an objective that says talk about context, then yeah, you are going to be outdated.
But we're not
because it
saying
means that
about-
you're only just talking about the historical elements that you think are unnecessary.
Yeah, but then I'll
Danielle, just before you jump in, let me just do this to her.
Hi.
There you go. Danielle, make your point.
So I
baby
would say, like, I'm maths background predominantly, and then English and digital on the side. But I won't sit here and say we don't cover the grade content. But it's sometimes we don't agree with the grade content because where are they going to use it in life? Would you?
Yeah, that's because could you tell me right now what job you can get with algebra?
Why are you going to tell me about maths?
Yeah, we don't know.
But this is the prime example. Like, this
Why
is what I'm
are
trying
you
to.
gonna
But this
tell
is
me
what
about
this is what
maths?
this is what I'm trying to say. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, I teach it, so you know it's fine. And the reason why I do it, and again, you know, I will be creative as much as I can. You know, in terms of like using colours and highlighters and trying to sort of like spice it up. No, on the real. No,
Spice it
seriously.
up with the
Try and
colours.
spice it up. Try and spice
Matching
it up.
cards,
Yeah,
playing
matching cards
games,
and all that.
quizzes.
So I do it and try and make it creative. And because again, like we're talking about now, like we're talking about the present. You know, we're in 2022 now, so we've come a long way. I feel like we need to implement other things, and again, like in the curriculum,
I'm sure there must be a subject though in the world, like a job that needs you to know algebra.
No.
I'm sure there is. So that one child,
Yeah,
what you
that's
gotta
what we
think
said,
is,
that
what
one
you gotta
job,
think
what is it?
that one child though will know that because that's the route they want to take. That's what their future is. That's what they aspire to be. So we need to cover algebra because you got to think about all children, not just the majority of, we've got social media, we've got, so many things out there that is competition. But the end of the day, we have to be able to cover all grounds.
Maybe it's a different way. Where from a college, if they're doing sports, the likelihood they don't need algebra. And they've chose that pathway, so they're all doing sports. So there's not going to be that one child in that class that needs that.
Could we not say maybe it's a way? And I think that I don't agree you need algebra, but maybe it's a way as well of actually maybe getting your brain to think differently or experience something differently. And then maybe that it is. Can I ask you a question? And Clem, can I ask you a question just about maths? Just because it's something I'm interested in. Is there, and maybe some teachers don't do it, but some teachers do. Is there a way? Because I think budgeting is a really important skill. And I see lots of things where there's lots of financial literacy class for young people, especially kids as well, that they're trying to incorporate it. Do we do that at school? Like teaching kids, you've got £1,000 the month, you've got to run a house. How do you pay rent? How do you do that?
Okay,
those stuff. That I think is really important.
Listen, that's a brilliant question. So funny enough, the week just went by now. I've got a student who recently got a job. He's been working in Tesco's for 2 months, and he struggles to like count money together, right? So like giving change basically, so like £10 notes and pound coins and 20p's, etc. And
quick maths,
yeah, exactly, quick maths, right?
And
if you think about it, like back in our day, it was making me sound old now, but back in our day, right? Everything was cash, isn't it? Everything was coins.
Yeah.
People don't have money.
Whereas now everything's card,
wireless,
tap, and all of that. So that's why they've lost that. They've lost that skill. So with this particular student, what we can do is with resources we can order in playful money so that we can sit down with them. Because I'll do a 1-to-1 with him, sit down with him. Because what he said to me was he will recognize the notes in terms of what they look like, and that's what helps him because he's a visual kind of learner. So I said, no problem. We'll bring that in next week. and we'll sit down. We'll go through this is what a £10 note looks like. This is what a £50 note, £20 note, pound coins.
You've had to go way back.
Seriously,
Wow, okay.
seriously.
Can I ask you a question as well? When does the curriculum get refreshed and looked at? When do people say, or like, I don't know, Clem, you say, maybe this is not working anymore for my student? Does it get refreshed and look like? Does the government say we need to look at this, or who does it? And when does it happen? Is it like every 5 years they go, we look at English, or we look at science?
I think it just happened when the GCSEs changed over. Yeah. So that's when it had a look to make it fit more in line.
That's where they applied the context. That's where they said that needed to be done. And that's obviously different exam boards. So it might be EdExcel, it might be AQA. There's a variety of them. But obviously they are also looked over by, I think it's
Ofsted?
Yeah, Ofcom. And they make the final decision of what they can actually put in their content in terms of maybe the stimulus or the grade boundaries and the criteria. So, yeah.
Cool. Thank you, guys. I think that was a really interesting conversation. Thank you. I hope it helps. I hope it helps give some people at home some information. So, we've got a question that's come in for one of you. Like, can you guess who it is?
Danielle.
Amber. Amber's like, not me. Amber, we've got a question. Okay, what are your thoughts on, drum roll, exclusion? And you guys feel free to jump in, because maybe our sister's got a little bit of brain freeze.
Like having a baby, no. Exclusion, I don't like the word exclusion.
Okay.
Because it makes me feel like you are leaving a child out, or forgetting a child, or saying goodbye to a child, whether that be because you're tired of them, or you feel like you can't help them anymore. I don't know, it just seems so separated from the rest. So exclusion to me is what you're asking me. What does it mean to me? I think.
What are your thoughts on it?
What are my thoughts on it? Yeah. I understand that in the working environment that we have, it's not easy for staff to support every child and get them where they need to be mentally, physically, emotionally, especially when they come from such difficult backgrounds, trying to shape them into being global or effective global citizens. It's so difficult because, once they walk out of the building, it's a different ball game for them. So, I think exclusion, for me personally, is about finding other routes to support children. And I know sometimes parents, they hear that word and they think, you don't care about my child, you're letting go of my child, you don't want to help my child. But at the same time, well, not at the same time, it's not like that all the time. Most of the times it's just this environment, this school, this day by day life of coming in and doing 5 lessons isn't working for your child. Your child isn't progressing. So what can we do to make sure that they achieve? And sometimes it means provisional education, like putting them in, I don't like pupil referral units, but I know sometimes some children have flourished in that. But
environment,
it's a 50-50. It's a tricky one. I mean, somebody.
See, I've seen them go the other way. So, you take. They've been excluded because they've done something wrong.
Sure.
That's fair to say. So you put all these kids that are naughty into one place, and sometimes it has a negative effect and makes them worse. To me, I've said it on every season, and I stand by it. No child is born naughty. Nobody's born naughty. Behaviour comes from what they learn. And I don't think there's enough of finding the root cause.
Sure.
So you're playing up. You're at the point where we're going to kick you out of school. Why? What is causing this behaviour? Work on the root cause and hopefully see a change. If not, sometimes it gets to the point where you have to refer them. But I don't think there's enough of going back to ascertaining what is the root cause of this behaviour.
And her saying that is because higher up need to fix it. They need to fix up, because they're putting so much pressure on us in schools that we find that is the only option.
Sure.
You know, we don't have enough staff. You know, we're understaffed. We don't have enough time in the day. Which we talk so much about being able to differentiate in a class, but we're not differentiating the system. The system's not differentiated. So if there's a mess, if it's messy there, why is everything else going to run smoothly?
Sure. Absolutely.
I mean, I agree, like, with both of you, but I'm gonna put a little spanner in the works.
Go on, Clem. Shake it up.
Because, like, you know, I don't like the word exclusion either. You know, I feel like that kind of needs to be changed. But then you've got the other side to it, where you've got a school, for instance, that have 300 students, 300 pupils, like, in a year, and, you know, they don't have the expertise or the resources, you know, to look at the root. Because I think you're right.
But then I disagree. Get the expertise, get the resources. Think of the money you're drawing down for those 300 learners.
It's all about the system. I've just
and
been
I'm not
ahead
saying
of you,
it's to the
and it's
teachers,
tough because you've got children that are literally not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and then you've got to get to lesson, and then you've got to mark books, and then you've got to moderate, and then you've got to standardise, and then you've got detentions at lunchtime, and then you've got to meet parents, and then where is the time that you even ate your food?
But that's
did you eat?
I don't think
Did you eat?
At my desk. At my desk.
Be real.
At my
At your desk, while you're on the phone call, while you're on hold,
yeah.
while you're typing an email. Let's be real. That's why exclusion is there.
But that's what I'm saying. Schools should have like a department that deal with that, to take the pressure off the teachers, to work with the system to make it work.
That's why
It
we need
goes
more
back
money.
to like a safe place for them to go.
Sure.
Yeah, somebody they open at. Okay, yeah, I did play up, but do you know why I'm playing up? This is going on at home. Or I've got no friends here. Or I show off because I actually don't understand what's going on in class.
Yeah.
So if I misbehave in class, teacher kicks me out in the end, and I haven't got to do the work. Find that cause, work with the cause. I'm not saying it should be the teachers, but there should be a place or a system for that to happen.
No, I agree.
Rather
Not
than,
isolation.
do you know what? You're not becoming our problem no more. We're going to pass you over to this one.
No.
You can become their problem.
Yeah, I agree. No, sorry.
And I was going to say, when I was in school, actually, there was a system where they didn't even. I was a part of that system where they let me go to a filming site 2 days a week. And I missed out on some lessons, and it really worked for me. But they never once told me you're being excluded. In fact, they made me feel like I was doing something that I enjoyed doing.
Do you know what, though? I'm going to go the opposite to that, because that used to happen at a school I was in. It was like the more problem children, we'll call them, used to go 2 days a week to do construction course, hairdressing. And then, again, I didn't agree with that. I agreed with what they were doing, but what about the kid that's quiet in class struggling? Why can't they go and do that construction course as well?
I was quiet.
Yeah?
I was the quiet child.
No, I'm saying for this school, it was just all the problem children. Yeah. And it used to then be, I thought it was an unfair system because the quiet child struggling got left behind because he didn't play up or she didn't play up. If they played up, they'd be going there.
I don't even know if you've seen recently in The Guardian, they're actually saying that the head teachers have announced that they're running out of money. So how are we even going to perfect or improve the issues that we have in terms of exclusion if there's no money to employ more staff, to support the staff, to support the children, to put them in projects?
It's a shame, though, because we're just in a system that's failing them.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Okay. Guys, thank you so much. Interesting discussion. Passionate, as always, discussion. Can I ask you one more thing? If you were able to have one thing, just one thing that you could implement in schools that would really kind of ease some of the pressures around exclusions, what would it be? One measure you'd put in place?
Mine would be to work with the less behaved learners, should I call them?
Clement?
Money?
Yeah.
Mine would be to go to the parents' houses and get them in school, like make it mandatory.
For the parents?
Where parents are sitting with those children, and that's it. And we're going to pay the parents as well. They can get their money at work, and they still need to come to school.
Can I just say, just finally to end on that, a school actually did that many, many years ago, I think, when I was little, many years ago. There was a school, and all the kids were running riot, misbehaving, doing as they please. Teachers couldn't control them. So the head teacher started getting the parents in. Come in. Tell you what, you're going to be the teaching assistant. Because no one would cross that parent. All of a sudden, I'm going to train you to be a teacher. They trained the parents up to run the school. But by doing that, these children were so wary of the parents, the behaviour changed.
For better.
Yes.
General consensus, get the parents
Obviously,
in.
that was many years ago when you could kind of do that kind of...
Clem actually said it on one of the episodes, it's about the parents. It's a triangle,
Getting them more involved.
everyone needs to work together as a team.
Together, yeah.
It can't just be one thing and everything else is left behind. Otherwise, there's gaps again.
What happens? Guys, thank you. Another interesting episode. Thank you for tuning in. As I always say at the end of every episode, like, subscribe, follow, do whatever the influencers tell you to do. Share, tell a friend to tell a friend. And thank you for tuning in. See you on the next episode.